Alright, let's dive into something that's been bubbling up in the news lately, and it's a doozy. President Trump just dropped a hint that a deal on the Strait of Hormuz could be announced as early as today or tomorrow. Now, if you're like me, your first thought might be, why does this matter? Well, the Strait of Hormuz isn't just any waterway, it's the lifeline for about 20% of the world's oil supply. So, when it's closed, as it has been during the Iran conflict, the global economy feels it. But here's where it gets fascinating. The deal being negotiated between Iran and Oman isn't just about reopening the strait, it's about who controls it and how. Personally, I think this is where things get really interesting. The proposal suggests that ships entering the strait would use the Iranian-controlled route, while those exiting would use the Omani side. What this really suggests is a delicate balance of power. Iran gets a say in inbound traffic, Oman in outbound. But here's the kicker, there's talk of a service fee. Now, Trump has been vocal about not letting Iran charge tolls, saying, if anybody's going to charge, we'll charge. But the reality is, this fee could be a way for both Iran and Oman to save face while ensuring the strait stays open. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just about oil, it's about geopolitical leverage. Iran has been under immense pressure, both economically and militarily, and this deal could be a way for them to regain some footing on the global stage. Speaking of military pressure, let's talk about the U.S. stockpile of long-range missiles. Reports are coming in that the U.S. has used nearly all of its Army tactical missile systems, ATACMS, and precision strike missiles in the war with Iran. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has downplayed concerns, calling it a manufactured story, but if you take a step back and think about it, this raises a deeper question: how sustainable is this conflict? The U.S. can't keep expending these resources indefinitely, especially when the industry can't replace them fast enough. This isn't just a military issue, it's a strategic one. If the U.S. is running low on these critical weapons, it could force a shift in tactics or even push for a quicker resolution to the conflict. Now, let's zoom out for a second. The Strait of Hormuz deal, the missile stockpiles, the Houthi attacks on Saudi oil tankers, all of these pieces are part of a bigger puzzle. What this really suggests is that the Iran conflict is reaching a tipping point. Both sides are feeling the strain, and the global community is watching closely. In my opinion, this could be the moment where diplomacy takes center stage, not just for the sake of reopening a waterway, but for finding a way to de-escalate a conflict that's been simmering for far too long. One thing that immediately stands out is the role of Oman in these negotiations. Oman has historically played the role of a mediator in the region, and this time is no different. By stepping in to help broker a deal, Oman is positioning itself as a key player in regional stability. What this really implies is that smaller nations can have a significant impact on global affairs when they choose to engage diplomatically. A detail I find fascinating is the UN rights chief's alarm over the surge in executions in Iran. Volker Turk's statement that at least 56 people have been executed since March, many on national security charges, adds another layer to this complex situation. It's a stark reminder that while we focus on geopolitical maneuvers and military strategies, there are real human costs at play. This raises a deeper question: can a nation that's under such international scrutiny truly negotiate in good faith? Or is this just another tactic to buy time and consolidate power? Personally, I think this is a critical moment for the international community to not just watch, but to act. If we're serious about human rights, this can't just be a footnote in the news cycle. It needs to be part of the conversation at the negotiating table. So, where does this leave us? The Strait of Hormuz deal could be announced any moment, and it's not just about oil or missiles, it's about the future of the Middle East and the global balance of power. What makes this really interesting is that it's not just a bilateral issue between the US and Iran, it involves Oman, Saudi Arabia, and the broader international community. If you take a step back and think about it, this could be the first step toward a broader resolution to the conflict. But it's also a reminder of how fragile these moments are. One misstep, one miscalculation, and we could be right back where we started. So, as we wait for that announcement, I'm left with one big question: Will this deal be a turning point, or just another chapter in a long, complicated story? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.